at the interpreter's house. Then Christian traveled till he came to the house of the interpreter. There he knocked again and again. At last someone came to the door and asked, "Who is there?" "Christian, sir, here is a traveler who was advised by an acquaintance of the good man of this house to call here for my profit. Therefore, I would like to speak with the master of this house." So the man at the door called for the master of the house, who soon came to Christian and asked him what he would have. "Christian, sir, I have come from the city of destruction and am on my way to the celestial city. I was told by goodwill at the narrow gate that if I called here, you would show me excellent things that would be of help to me on my journey. Interpreter, by all means come in, and I will certainly show you things that will be beneficial to you on your journey." The interpreter commanded his servant to light the candle and then invited Christian to follow him. The portrait of the godly pastor. Now interpreter led Christian into a private room, and there he ordered his man to open a door. There Christian saw the picture of a very serious person with his eyes lifted to heaven. He had the best of books in his hand, the law of the truth was written upon his lips, the world was behind his back, he stood as if he pleaded with men, and a crown of gold hung over his head. "Christian, what does this mean?" Interpreter, this is the picture of a man in 1,000, who can beget children, travail in birth with children, and nurse them himself when they are born. And just as you see him with his eyes looking up towards heaven, the best books in his hand, and the law of the truth written on his lips, this is to show you that his job is to know and unfold dark things to sinners. As you see him stand as if he pleaded with men, and as you notice that the world is cast behind him, and a crown hangs over his head, this is to show you that slighting and despising the things of the present, because of his love and devotion to his master's service, he is sure to have glory in the world to come. I have shown you this picture first because it portrays the only man whom the Lord of the celestial city has authorized to be your guide, in every difficult situation that you may encounter along the way. Therefore pay attention to what I have shown you, and carefully preserve in your mind what you have seen, lest you meet some in your journey that pretend to lead you along the right path, while in reality their way leads to death. 2. The Law and the Gospel. Then the interpreter took Christian by the hand, and led him into a very large room that was full of dust, because it was never swept. After he had observed the scene for a little while, interpreter called for a man to sweep. Now, when he began to sweep, the dust flew about so abundantly that Christian was almost choked to death. Then the interpreter immediately spoke to a gracious lady standing nearby, "Bring some water and sprinkle this room." When she had done so, the room was then easily swept and cleansed. "Christian, what does this mean?" Cleansing by law versus the gospel. Interpreter, this parlor is a man's heart that was never sanctified by the sweet grace of the gospel. The dust is his original Adamic sin and inward corruptions that have thoroughly defiled the whole man. He who first began to sweep is the law, but the gracious lady who brought water and sprinkled the room is the gospel. You saw that as soon as the man began to sweep, the dust so swirled about the room that could not be cleansed by him, and you were nearly choked to death. This is to show you that the law, instead of cleansing the heart from sin, revives and strengthens the sin to flourish in the soul, because although the law exposes and condemns sin, it does not have the power to subdue sin. When the sweet and precious influence of the gospel comes into the heart, as you saw the gracious lady settle the dust by sprinkling water, so is sin thoroughly defeated and subdued, and the soul made clean through obedience by faith. Consequently, the heart is fit for the King of Glory to inhabit.